This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. For real this time. And the birthday boy for today, April 29th, is a former hockey coach for many teams in the NHL. He was a pretty good coach. He helped Anaheim do one of the best Cinderella runs of all time. He was the Red Wings coach, winning the Stanley Cup with them, and then headed to the Leafs to being head coach, and then almost was coach of Columbus, but there were problems ahead. Anyway, he's now 61 years old from Manitowoc, Ontario. His name is Mike Babcock. Say what you want about his name. That's the name. So anyway, Manitowoc is actually in the Thunder Bay area, but he would grow up in Saskatchewan. And doing all that. So anyway, he played for the Saskatoon Blades in the Western Hockey League and then went to Kelowna. And then he actually went to the University of Saskatchewan for a year playing university hockey and then transferred to McGill. He played one exhibition game with the Canucks in training camp in 1985, but that was it. In 1986, he graduated from McGill with a bachelor's degree in physical education and did postgraduate work in sports psychology. In 146 games with McGill, he put up 107 points. He was the second highest scoring defenseman in McGill history. So anyway, he looked pretty decent and all that. McGill and Saskatchewan, University of Saskatchewan would give him honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. In 1987, he actually moved to the UK to coach for Whitley. He did pretty good in 49 games playing for them. All that. So anyway, only 4 McGill University former players have coached in the NHL. Lester Patrick, the Silver Fox for the Rangers, George Burnett for the Oilers, Guy Boucher with Tampa and Ottawa, and of course Babcock. He had done pretty well for himself. So after 1 year in the UK, he decided to be head coach of Red Deer College in Alberta, spending 3 years with the school and giving them the provincial college championship. Babcock would move through to the Western Hockey League in 1981, helping Moose Jaw out for a couple of years. He could have had a job in business consulting, but the University of Lethbridge gave him a chance to participate in coaching them, so he did. Lethbridge was not really that great in university play. However, he guided them in '94 in the postseason, winning 34 games and shocking everyone by winning the national title against Guelph 5-2. So he was a national champion in college. And then Spokane took a shining to him from the Western Hockey League and made him head coach. In 6 years, he won 224 games for them. They actually got to the 1998 Memorial Cup, mostly by being the host of the Memorial Cup. So that meant they were in the tournament. Unfortunately, in overtime, they lost the semifinal to Guelph, meaning that Guelph would face Portland for the 1998 Memorial Cup won by Portland. And then after Spokane, he spent a couple years being the AHL coach for the Mighty Ducks affiliate in Cincy. It was no surprise when the Ducks decided in 2002 to give him a chance to be head coach. So in 2002, he was named head coach and gave him a couple of seasons. His first season was the most memorable one, as the Ducks were the 7th seed and shocked the number 2 seed and defending Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings in 4 straight. They took care of Dallas in the second round. Then they swept the Minnesota Wild, who were surprises themselves, into the conference finals and got to the Stanley Cup finals against the Devils and held them to 7 games, but the Devils won on home turf. Babcock would decline to stay with the Ducks following the 2005 lockout. So Detroit said, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So Detroit, knowing that Babcock had ruined them in one playoff series, decided to give him a shot. And in his first 3 seasons, he helped the Red Wings win 162 games. Unfortunately, in his first 2 seasons, there would be problems. In the 2006 playoffs, the Red Wings were heavily favored to take out Edmonton, but the 8 seed Oilers beat them in 6 games and rode their momentum to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Red Wings were eliminated in the conference finals by the Ducks the next year. Ironically, that's his former team, and that team won the Stanley Cup. Regardless, he helped Detroit out in 07-08. They were heavy favorites, and they actually beat Nashville, Colorado, and Dallas to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So at least Babcock could lead them to the final. But he did more than that. He got them the cup, winning the Stanley Cup in 6 games against the Penguins. He ended up third in the Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year. He would sign a 3-year contract extension with the Red Wings. The Red Wings were looking to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. They would face Pittsburgh. Detroit was up 3-2 on the Penguins, but the Penguins won on home turf in Game 6, and it looked like Game 7, Detroit was going to win on home ice. But Marc-Andre Fleury stood on his head, and the Penguins won the game 2-1. Babcock would earn the nomination as the first head coach to lose a Stanley Cup Finals series in Game 7 with 2 different teams. Still, he signed a 4-year extension with the Red Wings. And on April 8th, 2014, he picked up win number 414 as a Red Wing, making him the highest win total by a coach in Red Wings history. Jack Adams had that award. Babcock earned his 500th career win, the second fastest, well, the second fewest amount of games. Only Scotty Bowman did it faster. In 10 seasons with the Red Wings, he got Detroit the 100-plus win plateau 8 times. Unfortunately, they only won 3 playoff series under Babcock after 2009, so it looked like they were always playoff chokers. There were rumors circulating that Buffalo, St. Louis, and San Francisco, aka San Jose, would go after Mike Babcock. But shockingly, he went to the Leafs, signing an 8-year deal, making him the highest paid NHL coach in history with an average of $6.25 million a year. He had a lot going for the Leafs. Had failed to make the playoffs in 9 of the last 10 seasons and had won a playoff series since 2004. Babcock would coach his 1,000th NHL game with the Leafs on February 4th, 2016. Shockingly for him, the Leafs were last overall, picking up only 69 points. And Babcock couldn't believe he missed the playoffs. Fortunately, though, the Leafs did win the draft lottery and were given a chance to go number 1, and they took Austin Matthews. And it worked wonders. The 2016-17 team was marked by high-end rookies like Matthews, Willie Nylander, Mitch Marner, Nikita Zaitsev, and Connor Brown making the squad, helping the Leafs go from worst in the league to a playoff spot against Washington. Toronto had a tough series against Washington, falling in 6 games to the Caps. But what's more important was that the Leafs and Caps went through overtime, not once, not twice, but 5 times, making it tied with the 1951 Cup final between the Leafs and Habs and the 2012 first round between the Hawks and Coyotes as the most overtime games in a series. Babcock tried again to win the Jack Adams Award, but he couldn't. After 2 first-round playoff series losses to Boston in 2018 and 19, Babcock was released because of a toxic work environment. He would be an unpaid assistant coach for the University of Vermont. But then the University of Saskatchewan said that Babcock would be their coach and all that. So anyway, that's just what happened and all that. So anyway, he still was under contract by the Leafs, even though he got fired. So Babcock couldn't find NHL employment. After the contract expired, Columbus decided to snatch Babcock up, giving him a 2-year, $8 million contract to be their head coach. However, it didn't last. On September 12th, 10 weeks after being named head coach, allegations of improper behavior surfaced on a podcast. Said that Babcock orders players to show them their photos on their cell phone as part of their character building exercise. But investigations into Babcock's behavior were opened by investigations. The initial investigation said there wasn't really any wrongdoing. However, several players, especially the younger members, were uncomfortable with Babcock's behavior. The team decided after the findings were made to them that they couldn't go forward, so Babcock resigned September 17th. So practically, he had this job, and then within 3 months, he was gone and never coached for Columbus. So anyway, he actually helped coach Canada's junior team in the 97 World Juniors in Switzerland, winning the gold medal there. Helped Canada win the 2004 World Championships. He was the head coach of Canada at the Winter Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver, in which we all know about the Sidney Crosby golden goal that won it for the Canadians. All that. He became the first coach and only coach in the Triple Gold Club for winning a title, a junior title, a Stanley Cup championship, and an Olympic medal, gold. And he was the coach, too. Babcock came back for the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. That saw them win the gold over Sweden. So he did his job. He had a weird coaching style, and a lot of it bit him in the butt later on. Regardless, he was pretty decent and all that. He's an advocate for the Center for Addiction and Mental Health and was part of the Order of Hockey in Canada in 2018. So the WHL, he went to 2 WHL finals in 96 and 2000. Couldn't get there. 2 AHLs years. And then with the NHL, with the Ducks in 2003, he led them to that Cinderella run to the Stanley Cup finals. After a missed playoff berth, he went to Detroit and won the Stanley Cup with them in 2008, losing it in 2009. His total NHL marks 1,301 games, 700 wins on the nose. In the playoffs, he's 90 and 74 with 1 Stanley Cup in his midst. And, he knew he had to be a fantastic player and coach. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do